pretty rad. Of the songs that I just recorded, that one is the one of the older ones. So I've heard it so many times now that I don't want to say I'm getting sick of it, but
Right.
but
It's okay.
but as far as that, just going over the radio, it's awesome. It's kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, it's interesting because people just wrote the song kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Can you imagine being like Arrow or Led Zeppelin, maybe a better example, and playing Stairway to Heaven again?
Right.
Oh man. But everyone really does appreciate it, and I appreciate that one for sure. Mary next to her is coming up next, and we'll go to new territory. All right, so you come to Mammoth Lakes this summer. You stayed 5 months, an inspiration for others to come to Mammoth Lakes. That's great. We'll have a nice little music scene come next spring, next summer. It's going to be off the chain. We appreciate that. Let's talk about the songwriting process. Are all of the songs that you write come from personal experiences?
Well, that's actually something I'm trying to get better at because when I do sit down to write a song, typically it is a personal experience. And I've noticed that my favorite songwriters, I'm a huge fan of like the Americana boom that's going on right now. A ton of them are able to write about either a fictional story or something from like the 1800s, these murder ballads that I just learned about that phrase not too long ago about a murder ballad. And I love them. So I'm trying to get better with being able to write about experiences that are not just about, myself, but typically that is what comes to mind when I sit down and write some stuff.
Yeah. To history to read that stuff with that kind of character and then, retell the story. But personal experiences by far, going to be the easiest to write a song for. Do you start with the music or the words, or do they come together simultaneously?
So I've dabbled with like a ton of different writing styles. What I've been doing recently is going outside, no guitar, just pad of paper and a pen, and kind of just writing everything that comes to mind. And then I'll dissect it, figure out some kind of rhyme scheme and like a basic structure. And then I'll go back and try to add a melody to it. Sometimes it's different though. Sometimes I'll just be jamming out in the bus and like this little chord progression comes to mind. So I'll try to write to it, but that's typically where I find I'm forcing lyrics when I have the chord progression first.
The melody too.
Right. So I've been trying to stick to writing first and then grabbing the guitar.
Okay, so 2 questions. Do you have a writing regimen? Do you write like every single morning? Is that something that you do now, or you're working your way towards kind of a schedule? What is your practice for creating?
My goal is write something every day, whether it be just like a hook, a one line, some weird phrase that I hear somebody else say, and then I just jot it down on my phone. I do try to get outside in the morning with a pad of paper and have some coffee, and that's typically when the words are flowing the most, is when I'm caffeinated, I'm looking at some nice mountains, trees, a river, something, and that's when the inspiration typically will hit.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. So thank you. As far as writing the words, now, do you write to a rhythm, or do you just write the thoughts?
Well,
do you know what I mean? It's like, because things are going to have a kind of a pulse or like a pattern. Do you do that?
Right. I think after the first line is written is when some melodies start popping in my head, typically. And that's when I have to adjust the lyrics so it fits, the syllables, and make sure that it all fits well. And then I can start working off of that.
Okay, perfect. All right, for all those future and budding songwriters out there, this is good stuff. I love it. The creative process is so high on my list of, inspiring. It doesn't matter what you do. Really, if you're, working with wood or something like that, there's a thought process that goes into it that makes it art, and being in that flow state. But I do believe in the regiment. My personal style is very similar. It's like just do a little bit every day. And if your goal is to write just one little ditty, one little bit, and see where that carries forward. Sometimes never, you forget it. But if you do remember it, then it usually is that little piece of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you've had the pleasure of, we have a recording studio here, Lucas over there at Mammoth Music. Is it called Mammoth Music?
It's Mammoth Lakes Recording.
Mammoth Lakes Recording. Okay, just want to make sure we get it right.
Yep.
Sorry about getting it wrong, but I want to get it right for sure. So how did you meet Lucas, and how was the recording process?
So I was having a lot of guitar troubles when I got here. Basically, every guitar that I had was just not handling the lack of humidity here. So they were buzzing on the frets and stuff. So I was looking for a music shop in this town, which I figured there obviously has to be.
Mhm.
And so when I Google it, Mammoth, his thing came up on Google. So I called him, and he was like, "Yeah, this is a recording studio." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Interestingly enough, I kind of write some music, so maybe we'll do that sometime. Just kind of threw it out there, but the intention was to get some new strings for my guitar and like get a guitar tech to like fix my guitar. So it was kind of an accident. And then a few months went by, and I was in a financial situation where I was like, you know what, I could probably record some songs. So I gave him a call, and we got it going.
Okay, nice. So you how many songs did you record?
I think like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
And then I was stoked on 3 of them. So we ran with 3.
Nice. Okay, and how long did it take you?
A lot longer than I thought.
Is that right?
This was certainly a learning experience. I had this idea in my head. I'm going to go in there, record 3 songs in an hour easily because I know these songs so well. I wrote the songs.
Right.
And then I realized that's not exactly how it works. You have to nail the song perfectly. Obviously, that it makes sense now, but there's a decent amount of pressure on that when and we're great friends now, but when I first went in there, he was kind of a stranger to me, and I was a little insecure about showing him my songs, and I all of a sudden was nervous. Like I had practiced these songs day and night. I was like, I'm gonna nail these. All of a sudden I go and sit down, and I'm nervous to sing.
Wow.
And I didn't know that was gonna happen. So I learned a lot through this process, and I'm really stoked to come back and record more with him.
Wow, a lot of firsts for you this summer.
Yes, absolutely.
First time in front of a microphone on stage, first time in a recording studio, yes.
Yeah, and that's actually why I decided to call this EP Mammoth Lakes EP. It wasn't just a simple, easy, oh, this is where I am, I'm going to call it Mammoth Lakes. It was such a huge learning experience for me with first open mic, first recording, first time being in a music scene, and I just felt like it was fitting to call it Mammoth Lakes EP.
I know you're going to be so good. I know you're going to be leaving us for the winter, probably today, right? You're going to be cutting out.
Yep.
But somebody said to me the other day when you were leaving, or it was like your final performance over there at Distant Brewing, and I say final in this time around, they were saying what a big impact that you've made. As
somebody say that?
As a human, yeah. And it's like, wow, it's such a great impact that Ethan has brought to us. So I'm not going to bring you to tears or anything like that, but it's you probably will. Why not? But I wanted to just share that with you because not everyone's going to come up to you and say, hey, Ethan, you were a great impact. Some will, but it's really important. So let's get into the second song on your EP, of the 3 that you're proud of here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in to our ACE program, Arts, Culture, and Entertainment here on KMMT, we have got Ethan Grillo here with us, who's just come to town this last year, stayed 5 months, normal in Ethan tradition to stay 2 weeks and cut out and move on to the next city. And we're just honored. I would say you have made an impact on us too here at the station, me personally. All right, so Ethan, we got the next one. That's a really fun song. You played a show up at the gallery, and a friend of yours was with you, and she said, "Play the worm song, play the worm song, play the worm song." And I'm like, I've heard you play, and I know you played your original. I was like, what's the worm song? And then I thought it's the lyric within this song.
Right.
But the song is actually called "Bury Me Next to Her." What's the story behind this one?
It's a silly song, I wrote it, just a silly little love song that I had in my head one day that just came out of nowhere. And I'd play it for my friends around camp all the time. And when I had mentioned to somebody that I was going to record my music, they were like, well, you're going to record that one. And I was like, no, like that one's such a silly song. Then all of a sudden the feedback was like, that's the only song I want to hear recorded. So then I was like, okay, I guess I should probably record this song. And I had to put in parentheses when I released it, the Worm song, just to, shout out the crew who, as you know, like they all call it the Worm song. So
Awesome. Perfect. And okay, it's a silly song, so we'll just get into it. The lyrics, I think, speak for themselves,
Yeah.
and it's so much fun. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere right now, Ethan Grillo's EP called Mammoth Lakes EP. This is Bury Me Next to Her, in parentheses, the Worm song.
Bury me next to her. No casket, just some dirt. Tangled in roots in my cowboy boots while my eyeballs are eaten by worms. We'll be dancing way up there in that Rocky Mountain air. Eating pulled pork sandwiches, corn on the cob, split it in ice cold beer. Bury me next to her, could be anywhere on earth. The Colorado Canyon or Montana.
All is good? All good?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Anything that you would like me to ask now that we've been talking a little bit? Or good pass? Good
This
taste?
is amazing. Yeah, okay. You're rolling.
Thanks. You
You
too.
and me sitting under a tree watching sparrows flying by. Bury me next to her. No casket, just some dirt. Tangled in roots in my cowboy boots while my eyeballs are eating my worms. We'll be dancing way up there in that Rocky Mountain air. Eating pulled pork sandwiches, corn on the cob, split it in ice cold beer. So bury me next to her, could be anywhere on earth. The Colorado Canyon, a Montana mountain, by cactus in the desert. On a hill where the coyotes cry, a riverbed that just went dry. You and me sitting under a tree, watching sparrows flying by. This is where the guitar's super fuzzy. Bury me next to her, but make sure I'm in there first. On my last sunrise, laying by your side, looking back on what it's worth.
Yes, Ethan Grillo with Bury Me Next to Her, the Worm song. I don't think it's silly. I mean, I know you do because the words are kind of, tongue in cheek or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like the ultimate love song.
I think so, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It really is. It says a lot about you as a person.
Mhm.
Awesomeness. So we're stoked that you've been here in Mammoth Lakes and going to be cruising for a little bit, but promise to be back. So we'll have to hold you to that.
For sure.
For all of the, so how do we follow you? You're on the road quite a bit. Do you have the Instagram, TikTok thing?
Yeah, for all my social media things, it's my name, Ethan Grillo, Grillo, with a underscore after it. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. I think we should get into the next one. All right. So
Yeah,
this one's really good. And I know when Josie, when we were talking about the new recordings, she said this song is really special. But you've gotten some other feedback from this too. Can you tell us the backstory of Mother Mary and what it means to you?
Yeah, this one, the feedback has been pretty outrageous. So like I had said earlier, there were highs and there were lows of Mammoth Lakes, and there was certainly probably the lowest point in my life, if I'm being honest. Classic heartbreak, you know how it goes. And I was kind of going down a pretty bad path, I'd say. And what I call my road mom, this lady Mary, had showed up in town like right as it was happening. And at that point, I wasn't doing super well. I wasn't really eating too much. I was probably drinking too much. And she just straight up took care of me during that period of time. And I'm so grateful. I can never really explain how grateful I am. But one of our morning routines is sitting outside, having some coffee. And we wouldn't even talk most mornings. She would just be doing some sketching and I would just be writing, because typically how it goes for me, at least, after some heartbreak is when the best songs come out of my mind.
Mhm.
And so this song, hands down, was the fastest song I've ever written in my life. I wrote it, the whole thing, in like 40 minutes over a cup of coffee. And she was just sitting on the side of me. She had no idea. And yeah, and I surprised her with it later that week. I told her I was going in to re-record a song, but I was actually going in to record that one. And she obviously loved it.
Nice.
And so yeah, this one's super special, and it's great to see that the feedback is so great. Even if people don't know her, they just appreciate the lyrics. And I noticed a lot of people are like, can relate because they have their own Mother Mary, especially if you travel, you don't have your mom or whoever's there who typically will support you. You need somebody else, and a lot of people could relate to the words I wrote.
Beautiful. I think we should listen to it. Yes.
Sure.
And ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere of Ethan Grillo's Mother Mary here on KMMT.
When I die and I'm floating high, meet me at the steps. An honest angel drinking Diet Coke and smoking menthol cigarettes. I've prayed in my darkest days that I could fly away from here. And as I dig my grave, she just takes my hand and says, "Come with me, my dear." I may not believe in Jesus, but I've been saved time and time again. If there's a hell that lies beneath us, Mother Mary will wash away my sins. Low cards prove to be royals too, with 3 aces on the flop. She bet it all on her pocket twos, for she's a gambler at heart. Dirty jokes and endless anecdotes as our coffee starts to cool. A drunken hazeman with a warm embrace as I proudly play the fool. I may not believe in Jesus, but I've been saved time and time again. If there's a hell that lies beneath us, Mother Mary will wash away my sins. Wash away my sins. Dusty trails filled with satin tails, couldn't walk 2 steps in her shoes. Never placing blame with wisdom she's gained, now she's got nothing to lose. When I die and I'm floating high, who'll meet me at the steps? An honest angel drinking Diet Coke and smoking menthol cigarettes. May not believe in Jesus, but I've been saved time and time again. If there's a hell that lies beneath us, Mother Mary, wash away my sins. 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 wash away my sins, wash away my sins, wash away my sins.
Beautiful. So good.
Thank you, man.
Remember that one afternoon?
Yeah.
It's really powerful, dude. Mother Mary, we have Ethan Grillo here with our ACE program. Thank you, Ethan, for joining us and sharing your music with us. What if we're listening right now, how can we best support you right now?
I mean, so that EP just came out today, so if you could check it out, that'd be great. It's available on like pretty sure all of the streaming platforms that exist. And yeah, that's pretty much all I would request.
Okay, listen to it and comment, I suppose, will help give it some mileage. It's on YouTube, with Spotify. I mean, all of it probably.
Yeah, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube, all the things. I think it's like 20 different things. I don't know half of them, but
Okay. How do you feel about that? Because I mean, living up here in the mountains and being quiet, how do you feel about people commenting and getting all this attention? Is it something that you look forward to, or is it like, oh no? What is it? It's probably a combo pack.
It
You really
definitely
appreciate it, but it's like, having to respond knowing that you're a little bit of a nomad kind of personality, yes?
yeah. So the past like week has been super overstimulating for me and my cell phone. Because I'm the kind of person that just is not going to respond to comments, and it's not anything, negative. It's just like I don't really get around to it. And I feel like there's a lot more pressure to do that because a lot of the comments are like, where can I find your music? When is it coming out? Blah, 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 blah. And not just that, there's a ton of love coming in. And I feel like I need to, show appreciation for that. But it's not really my style. I mean, like you said, I'm typically in the woods. Service is sometimes there, sometimes it's not.
Right, yeah.
And I'm looking forward. I'm loving everything right now. This is awesome. I'm looking forward to things kind of dying down and me going back to just writing some songs and going back to normal life.
Oh, wow. Awesome. And what is normal life? I don't know. Yeah. Normal life is just being at peace, I guess, within something
Right.
like that. All right. So let me ask you, because you are a humble person and such a talented songwriter, are there aspirations deep inside that say you want to reach the biggest audience possible and be on the cover of Rolling Stone, or is it just share music? What is your goal personally?
I mean, I don't think I could handle that. I barely can play an open mic. So,
We'll start with that. Yeah.
So, I watch videos online of like, my favorite artists, and they play to these huge crowds. And I honestly have no idea how they could ever do that. I just don't think I could. I've told my friends that what I would love more than anything is, when I'm older, some young nomad who's, going through it, trying to figure it out, maybe finds my music and can relate to it, which is what I do now with all of my favorite artists. So my goal, I don't really want any recognition for this, at least right now. But, when I'm older, if some younger version of me can hit me up and be like, hey, this song really spoke to me, I think that's kind of all I'm looking for.
Right. Absolutely. Well, you are humble and one step at a time. Right. Started open mics in front of a microphone before
Yes.
I'm thinking about 50,000 or being a household name, that kind of thing. But that's a great place to start, one foot at a time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's support Ethan. Yes, I mean, now it sounds like a competition. Support his music and his craft by going to Ethan Grillo. That's ETHAN Grillo, GRILLO _. And you can do that on Instagram or TikTok, and or go to YouTube and just watch the video and just make a comment. Even give a thumbs up, right? It all matters. And then eventually we'll have you in front of 50,000 people and you'll be like owning the place. But we don't need to rush that. We appreciate you here, man, with legs. Is there something I haven't asked you that you'd like to share? Or are we good?
There's nothing that I can think of besides the fact that this just came to me the other day. How fitting I feel like this is right now, because this is my last day here in Emmett before I go. And I feel like, I was busking and all that before I came on the radio, but I feel like when I first came here, it was like the start of me getting into that music scene that we were talking about. And that's when I felt it starting to take off. And you and Josie were like my first friends in the music community here, and you guys brought me in, and I really appreciate that. And I just think it's so fitting that we're going to end here. So thank you for having me back on.
right. Well, just a little pause. We'll be
Yeah,
back in this,
of course.
for sure. But thank you for saying so. We do appreciate you. Love you very much. That's for sure. All right, so we're gonna leave. We're gonna get past this moment, right? Because it's already so heavy. It's like I'm gonna
Start crying over here.
No, it's all good. We'll be in communication.
Yeah.
But I always ask our guests to choose a song to leave our segment. What have you chosen for us today?
I chose my favorite artist, Towns Van Zandt, Poncho and Lefty.
All right, we're gonna do a live at Old Quarter in Houston. Think you mind if we do that?
That'd be great.
Awesomeness. Ethan, thank you so much, and happy trails. Is that it? What do you say to your friends when you leave? Did you say
I
goodbye?
say see you down the road.
See you down the road. All right. We'll see you down the road, Ethan. All right, here's Poncho and Lefty. Here's Towns Van Zandt. Awesome.
Thank you. Gosh, this song is so good.
Living on